Let's when we talking about turning it off, it definitely seems that the Lakers have turned off their efforts to make the postseason. They have instituted a minutes
I
restriction.
think arithmetic is turned off.
Well, sometimes you turn off the light because your mama told you to go to bed. Sometimes you turn off the light because you're sleepy. Either way, the lights is off. Either way, the lights off. So they have instituted a minutes restriction for LeBron, and they have sat Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball for the remainder of the season. It's so funny though, because right after that happened, the Lakers' first game was against my Bulls, and LeBron came out there looking like 06 LeBron. Like,
yeah,
it was
let
hilarious.
me just say, they say they're putting him on a minutes restriction. I have not seen that yet, so I don't know how much stock I'm putting in.
Well, it's hard to say because I think one of the games was a blowout, so you couldn't really determine if was he on a minutes restriction or did he just not play because they were blowing him out.
Well, look, he got the most minutes in the game tonight, and he's averaging 37 minutes a game in the last 10. So I need to see this minutes restriction before I
he only played 22 minutes so far.
Yeah, but they in the third quarter, that's the most anybody's played.
Well, Bullock's got him by one. Bullock's been out there for 1 minute.
Did you really just say that? Did you really just say that?
He got him by what? He got him. He's got it.
Yeah, they ain't resting that man yet.
Or maybe he sits for the whole rest of this third quarter and then plays like the last 6 minutes of the fourth or something like that.
Yeah, until he start doing that, that's fake news.
Yeah, because I don't know what he played against the Bulls. He played 33 minutes.
Yeah, and I think it's part of it is people who have said that LeBron James is going to be on a minutes restriction, but he sits himself down. He's one of those players, and until he sits himself down, he's not on the minutes restriction.
Yeah, honestly, man, I don't know, man. I say this all the time, and I so mean it. I so mean it. Somebody has to coach LeBron.
You can't coach him.
I think everybody just says that you can't, and people are afraid to actually
You're ignoring
try.
16 years of evidence. Here's why you can't. There's a specific reason. This is directly from NBA execs. This isn't me saying this, right? Even if you as a coach want to coach him, what will happen is ownership will undermine you. In addition to him being difficult to coach in the first place. Because when he gets on the floor, unless you pitch a fit and make it a toxic situation, he is going to listen to you and nod and do what he thinks is right. He is uncoachable because he's a genius. So this is one of his, I talk about Black Panther a lot. That Black Panther, I thought, one of the brilliant things about the movie is that his strengths were his flaws. Right? Sometimes a hero needs a weakness completely separate from themselves. LeBron James, same thing. His strength is his basketball intelligence and the fact that he has great instincts and knows the right thing to do most of the time. His weakness is that because of that, he don't listen to nobody. He's not coachable. He has tried to undermine coaches in ways that other players, I've never seen a player shoulder check a coach until LeBron James. I've never seen that before. Not in his own team. I saw Alonzo Mourning trying to stomp, Van Gundy into the nether realm, but that was the other team's coach. I've never seen a player shoulder check his own coach before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I've seen it. I just haven't seen it I haven't seen it in this era of the social media because, like I said before, Magic Johnson flat got Paul Westhead fired. He said, "Look here, that dude there with the hair." He got to go.
LeBron James has done that to almost every, not almost every, but he's done it to so many of his coaches that weren't his guys. And who are his guys? The only guy who was a great coach that coached him was Eric Spoelstra because of the opposite situation. Because Pat Riley came down and said, "That's my guy. Y'all got to figure it out." And hold on, here's the thing. What did LeBron do? He got out of there for that reason. Because he couldn't do whatever he wanted.
I don't think
that's what the reports are. I'm telling you what the reports are. I'm not just making this up.
I don't think that's why. Nobody says who knows that. And see, those are the type of things that I say. The reports say this, the reports say that. As a person who literally creates these headlines, I'm telling you, you cannot just take those reports and
but
repeat
you also
them back
can't
as fact.
ignore multiple sources. Even Pat Riley talking about it, he says, yeah, I forgive LeBron now, but the part of the reason I was so mad is because I didn't see it coming. And the corresponding report, before those words came out of Pat Riley's mouth, the complimentary report was LeBron was secretly salty all that time because Pat Riley wouldn't let him do whatever he wanted to do.
See, I mean, that just sounds so non-official and so non-concrete. That sounds like somebody else's perception and opinion of how LeBron felt. And unless LeBron says, you know what, I was frustrated.
But LeBron is passive
things that I want. So I'm not going to take somebody else's opinion on why LeBron did what he did with his life over. I mean, I'm not going to do that because we all.
LeBron never said why he left.
We're making an exception. Exactly. So I wouldn't go and say that he left because he couldn't do what he wanted to do, because LeBron never said that.
But the thing is, it would be one thing if it was one report coming out of Miami. This is from multiple. And the thing is, the people who say this
tell them to be misinformed. Dude, what ends up happening is,
but it's consistent with his behavior.
What ends up happening generally is somebody comes out with a report, and I see it happen all the time in boxing. I see it happen all the time in MMA. I see it happen all the time in every sport just about that I've ever covered. Someone comes out with a report who is respected. There are times that report is wrong. There are times when it's dead on. And what ends up happening is everybody piggybacks off of the first drop that comes from an official source. It does not make it true. It does not make it true. So, I mean, I'm not saying that that's not the reason why it didn't play a part, but I think personally, my assessment of the situation was that LeBron felt that he had unfinished business to do in Cleveland.
Oh, I'm sure that was part of it.
From a brand standpoint.
I'm sure that was part of it.
From a legacy standpoint. And also his wife said she was homesick. Now, I think that would have more of an impact on me than me talking about some air sponsor won't let me do exactly what I want.
Well, again, I'm not talking about a hypothetical situation. I'm talking about the consistency of his behavior. Even if you look at situations where when he knows what to do, this is why for years he was called the biggest front runner in the game. Because when he was in Cleveland, when he was feeling himself, they was all taking pictures and blah, blah, blah. As soon as he was in a pressure situation, he would get different. He would get weird. He would get quiet.
I see that when you see LeBron. I see LeBron is a horrible loser. He's a horrible loser.
It's not just lose. I'm talking about before he loses, though. Some of it is like after he lost. Some of it is before he loses. When he's in a situation where he doesn't feel like he's in control, he gets weird and passive aggressive.
See, I don't think it's necessarily about control. I think he feels like we're going to lose. So to me, that's the same as being a bad loser. When LeBron loses hope, when he loses faith in the team he has or the situation he's in, that's when he becomes the jerk. And that's what you see right now with him throwing people under the bus with the Lakers. That's what you saw with the way he acted at the end of the Cleveland thing. I've never, ever defended LeBron for the way he behaves in those situations because I think it's straight punkish. And I don't respect that about him. Nobody's perfect. He's still one of my favorite players, but that right there is straight.
But so here's the thing. So you admit that when he doesn't like a situation, he gets pouty and moody and he leaves town.
Right, but I'm saying,
and you're saying,
I'm not saying
a coach is going to come,
but no, don't circle it, don't link it together because it's not the same.
It is linked.
What I'm saying is, when he is in a situation that he doesn't like, I'm not saying that I'm not saying it. Well, I'm talking more from a competitive standpoint. When he feels that the team he's playing on right now, this team cannot win. We're not going to win with this group we got. When he gets to that place, it's just like the guy that you play with when you go play pickup basketball and the game's not over yet. Y'all playing the 32 and the score is 28-16. And in his mind, y'all already lost. So before the game is over, he looks over to the side and see who got next and say, hey man, can I run with you? The game ain't even over yet. And he's looking on the side talking about, can I run with you? I hate that, but that seems exactly like what LeBron would do.
I'm not saying that's not also part of it. What I'm saying is that when LeBron doesn't get his way, he turns into a bratty little bitch.
Yes.
Right? We all agree on that. So you're sitting here telling me.
No, I didn't say, I'm not saying, no, I won't say
let me finish.
His way. I'm not saying get his way. I'm saying what I'm talking about is when he thinks that he's going to lose.
Yeah, well, I think it's when he doesn't get his way. And what you're proposing is that a coach is going to tell this guy, who, again, 8 finals in a row, can't knock him, right?
Right.
What you think doesn't matter. Run what I think. Your situation, which has never happened to LeBron ever before, you're saying, well, I think it can happen. I'm saying, you really think that all these basketball geniuses that have encountered this man didn't try that?
Well, see, I don't think that he's encountered a ton of basketball geniuses. That's the first thing. Secondly, I don't think that he's played for a lot of owners who will just say, I'm going to back the coach. And here's the problem, because there are so many weak back owners and so many weak back guys out there. There's nowhere else for it. Here's the one piece of leverage that people have or organizations have against LeBron. There's one NBA. Now, yeah, you're LeBron, but if you get to the point where you realize that everybody's not going to let you run their franchise, right? Everybody's not going to let you say, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. You only got 30 chances, bro. And I doubt you're willing to go through all 30 squads to find the one that's going to let you run it. The problem is ownership and these head coaches are not aligning and saying, look, dude, you are the greatest player in this world right now. You are absolutely the greatest player ever played, unless you're talking about the Lakers. You're definitively the greatest player to ever play in this organization. But you are still a player. And will we take your input? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, that final decision comes from that coach. If every team says that.
But every team not cooperating. Because and this is the problem.
That's my whole point.
You're saying that this is a complete fantasy scenario.
It's
because
not.
It is. Let me explain to you why it's a fantasy scenario. Because some teams would never ever have the success that they would have with LeBron James that they would have without LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
yes.
For instance, so you're saying like all teams are gonna agree to put LeBron James in check so that he behaves himself. And if I'm the Charlotte Hornets, let me just finish. If I'm the Charlotte Hornets, I'm saying, do you know how much money I could get if I let Zion Williamson come here and do whatever he wants? I would make more money than I would ever possibly make. And Phoenix Suns, if I let LeBron James, he'd be 40 years old. If I let LeBron James come in here and decide what flavor the Gatorade is for everybody else, I'm gonna make more money than I made in the past 4 years.
There's historical reference to show that it can be done. When Mike was in Chicago, Mike did not run it. Mike had a variety. Mike had a variety of things that he would have wanted the Bulls to do.
That's a long history.
It's a long history, but it's the
genie is out of the bottle.
But the genie's out of the bottle because you let him escape.
No, the genie's out of the bottle because the NBA's made a lot of money.
But here's my point. The Bulls have not had a sellout since Mike left town, and we suck.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. Why the genie's out of the bottle.
But we're talking about just money, it's proof you can still make money as an organization and run your organization and piss off your star.
No, that's not true for every team.
And the Bulls didn't even do Mike as well as Cleveland did LeBron.
That's not true for
They didn't even treat him as well.
Chicago, New York, LA, Chicago, New York, and LA could do whatever they want.
Oh, Chicago we are not on that level. We get that proven to us every time free agency runs.
No, I'm
around.
talking about specifically your support. Your city supports your teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whatever you put on the court, the Bulls are going to be all right. That's what I'm saying. New York and LA have the benefit of being a draw because they're great cities.
So then why are they doing it in LA then?
Why are they doing what in LA?
Letting him coach the team.
Because they have no choice. That's what I'm telling you this whole time.
Do. You just said they have a choice. You're LA.
No, but LA is doing better with LeBron James. They shouldn't even be in the news right now. This time last year, they had the same record. They were in the same situation, and nobody cared what they was doing. They making more money just because he's sitting there doing whatever he feel like doing.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to turn this into a bash LeBron thing because LeBron is still one of my favorite players of all time. He absolutely is. But just because somebody's my favorite player don't mean that I can't see any faults in them.
Wait till you see the show, man. You ain't getting invited to the barbecue.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't go to Brentwood no way.
To close that up, the Lakers who they resting? They ain't resting nobody until I see him rest. I'll believe it when I see it. But right now, no evidence of that. They a mess, and
they a hot mess.
I want, before we get off of LA, I just want to say the Brandon Ingram thing seems like he'll be fine, but his injury and Lonzo's injury, it makes it credible what we're hearing that they're definitely not going to get Anthony Davis. Now, I don't think they need Anthony Davis because they have cap space and they can get other players.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need Anthony Davis to be successful. In fact, we haven't seen Anthony Davis win anything. So I think there's, as productive as he is from a numbers standpoint, I think it's a little much. People are talking about him like he's a winner. And sometimes what works on paper doesn't work on the court in the highest level of competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really don't have any problem with that concept at all. Definitely. I still think that Anthony Davis has to prove that he can be a part of a winning team. But I do think that playing alongside LeBron is that is the ideal environment for him. To be honest, dropping him on a team as the beginning of it.
I think the ideal environment is him and Kyrie Irving, to be honest with you. I think him and Kyrie is one of the best pairings you could get.
I guess what I mean when I say that is, I mean, going someplace where there's already an established star, trying to build around Anthony Davis, to me, you got a fat chance to try to do better than what New Orleans has already done.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they've done, and it hasn't produced anything.
Well, because there's an argument to be made that you can't win without a ball dominant star in this league.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you build around. You build around the ball dominant star. You don't build around the highly productive complementary pieces around.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best. He's the best complementary piece in the world, is what he is.
Yeah,
but that's essentially still what he is, a complementary piece. You know, he's not taking the ball and creating for everybody else.
He's not Giannis.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. And you know what? That is so insane. Think about that. A lot of people would probably say Giannis, Anthony Davis, maybe about the same. Not even close. Not even close.
Giannis is a walking offensive system.
Yes, it's not even close. The impact on the game is not even close. Mm-hmm. You know, you can look at the numbers and go 28 and 17. I don't care if it's 40 and 20. If you look at the way the numbers come about, it's not even close.